Welcome in everybody to another week here with Heart to Heart Motorsports as we take on Mid-Ohio. How's it going this week, J-Dog? How you doing, brother?
Doing pretty good, trying to hang in there here in Lexington, Ohio, for Mid-Ohio.
As we got all these guys out here qualifying right now, getting ready to see if they can throw down a hot lap as we take on the track tonight for 30 laps. So what do you think we're going to see here later in this, J-Dog, as we see these guys normally running oval races and then come in and hit this road crate?
It's going to throw them off just a little bit. I can understand in between. We usually have like 2 road courses out of the season, Mid-Ohio, and you got Watkins Glen. This is Mid-Ohio. It's going to be an exciting race.
It's definitely going to be very challenging here as some of these corners on this track you have to take in first gear. You have to slow down that much in this car to be able to make it through that corner. So you lose a lot of speed going in these corners, but you're able to also gain a lot of speed coming out of these corners.
That is very true.
So we take a look here at Bobby Lane in a Bass Tire 02. Mr. Rusty Robinson in the number 5, Buchanan Resort. Bud Light Mike, everybody, in the 47. Got Andrew in that 31 in that Chasing Muscle Car Chevrolet. Looks like we're going to have a pretty good field here tonight, J-Dog. It looks like it's going to be full of some good racing here tonight.
It's definitely going to be exciting. It's going to be a really good race for everybody. There's going to be action all over this track.
Greg Langford, everybody, in that CNL Carpet Chevy. Alan Marr in the number 9. Going to be Scott Cazenave, your points leader right now here with the ARCA series. Austin Kornprost, everybody, in the 95. Now, as we're getting some of these first laps done here, they're going to have 2 laps here in these qualifying runs. This is a very big track here, so lots of turns and lots of twists. But how's all the fans doing tonight, y'all? Hope you're all doing well. Please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Heart to Heart races. Here, races brought to you every Sunday, y'all, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Much love to all of the sponsors with Heart to Heart. Buchanan Resort, everybody. Allen Tillery Buick GMC, everybody. Chasing Muscle Cars, everybody. Greg Langford with CNL Carpets and Bass Tire, everybody. Much love to all of the sponsors. We would not be able to race without you. So thank you so much for all of your love and your support. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for making this such a wonderful season for Heart to Heart. Heart to Heart is looking forward to another season right after this. Looking forward to moving on with a different series on both Friday and Sunday nights. So looking to change it up a little bit and make it more exciting for everyone to watch. And looking forward to seeing some more of these drivers come back next season and put it down. As we are finishing up qualifying here, we still got 4 minutes of qualifying left here. We're just going to let these guys run it out here and see for a good race. Going to be Carter Cazenave in that 77. Dan Colson in the 12.
Carter looking pretty smooth out here.
Carter, he does love those road races, so I'm expected to see some good racing out of Carter tonight. Carter new later into the season here with Hrt2Heart, but has come in here and started racing. Scott Cazenave's son of the 03. Looking forward to see what he can really put out tonight, though, definitely.
I know this road course is tough for all drivers. Do you think tire wear is going to be an issue on this track?
So as we got about a minute left here to go, everybody, we're going to go ahead and step away a minute and thank our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Aaron Lane from Bass Tire.
Hi, I'm Steve Bass. We're here at the legendary Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Good tires and brakes are important on this race car, and so are the tires and brakes on your vehicle.
For the very best in tires, brakes, and auto service, come make a pit stop at Bass Tire.
Serving Nashville for over 35 years.
On Nolensville Road, next to the zoo.
All right, everybody, and we got your starting lineup right here, everybody. We're a little late in that after that commercial break, but looks like we're going to have some good racing tonight, everybody. It looks like it's going to be a battle. We're going to have Scott Cazenave taking up that P1 spot with Austin Cornpost going to be in P2. Dan Collison's going to take up that P4 with Alan Moore in P3, everybody. That's going to put Bobby Joe Lane in P5 with Javier on the outside in P6. Carter Cazenave is going to take up that P8 spot on the outside with Rusty Robinson on the inside in P7. That's going to put Austin Lohmeyer, everybody, in P9 with Bud Light Mike on the outside in P10. That's going to put Ryan Perrone on that inside lane with Zach Sandlin in P13 on the outside, everybody. That's also going to put Steve Harrison in P14 with Greg Langford in P15. We got that a little bit backwards there because we was a little late on the delay, but we're all going to make it, y'all. We're going to make it. Time to go racing here at Mid-Ohio. As you said, chasing muscle cars, it ought to be a fun race. There ought to be a lot of action going on here tonight. So I am excited to see this here. Man, will you look at this takeoff here? Would you look at this? This looks awesome right here. Would you just look at that view? That is something to live for right there. You see that? That is beautiful, isn't it? Look at how they line up here. Beautiful, y'all. Beautiful.
That was a rear view camera from the pace car. And this will be the only time you will see that pace car. I see those drivers starting to get ready for this race now and starting to warm those tires up.
Did they wreck before we even went green here? Did that just happen? I believe it did here. I believe it did. They sure did.
God bless.
Man, I'm not sure what happened here, but pacing just wasn't happening here at the end of this field. Hopefully they'll be able to get it fixed and taken care of before we hit this green flag here.
Right.
Hopefully they'll get that fixed up before this race starts. That was crazy.
Yes, sir, it was. It happens, though. It definitely happens here. So that's how we go, baby. That's how we go.
Pace car's off. Green flag. We're racing at Mid-Ohio.
Like Austin's going to get the jump here on the outside lane with Dan Coulson to follow. The number 3 of Scott Cazenave is going to make it work here. He is going to keep that second place spot and hold it consistent here, working his way to keep it in front of Dan Coulson here as they take off here for these first few laps here. Hopefully they'll keep it pretty consistent and try to stay out of trouble. We're going to try to catch as many accidents as we can. Can't guarantee you too much. These tracks are a little hard to keep advantage of that. Good luck to all the drivers out there. That's all I got to say. Good luck to the drivers, and hopefully you don't get into too much trouble. So don't try to drive it too hard, everybody, and just take it easy for those 30 laps, and let's go.
In that first straightaway, I just saw Rusty actually got a little bit of loose on his start. Austin now looking pretty good now, coming around for the first lap of Mid-Ohio.
Alan Moore currently back here running in that P5 spot right now. As you'll see, everybody's kind of getting in line here, not trying to push it too hard as there's a lot of laps here. There's a lot to go on.
I just saw Austin going into the pits.
Makes me wonder if he got to jump the start here. Not really sure if that's what happened here, but hoping that's not the case and getting that penalty that will set him back a little bit. But it shouldn't hurt him too bad. He should be able to get back out there before going a lap down and get back to going.
Carter down, being careful now, being right behind Bobby Joe.
Taking a ride back here with Zach Sandlin, back here with Carter. Carter currently in that 6th place spot. Currently now they are slowly moving themselves up this track and up towards the front of this field. If we take a look at Scott Cazenave here, we have Javier right here on his back door. These are your 1st and 2nd place people in points right now. As we got Alan Marr also currently in that top 3. He is in 3rd in points and he's 3rd in the race right now. So they are looking as they are in the lineup of the points right now. Just as Lane back here. Lane also currently in that 4th place spot here, 4th in points. Awesome job by these guys, everybody. It looks like we had a little bit of an accident back there. I'm going to go take a look. Yeah, we had a few drivers go off a track there, but it looks like they was able to regain that composure and keep going. So let's get it, boys. Come on. Let's get it together. Hold it together, boys. Don't overdrive it.
They are looking pretty steady out here in Mid-Ohio right now, and Lexington, Ohio is looking pretty good. Carter in the 77. Dan Colson in front of him.
Looks like we're going to have Steve Harrison out, and we're going to have Benny Jones in the pits. Hopefully Benny will be able to get back out. I'm not sure about Steve. I guess Steve hurt his car a little too much there in that first incident. It unfortunately happens, and hopefully we'll get to see him back on the track again next week, as we only got 3 races left in the season after today's race. So just 3 more left to go, everybody, and then Hrt to Heart will be gearing up for another season of some hardcore racing, everybody.
Brian Perone to 50. He goes around.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of spinning here, everybody. We've seen Zach Sandlin go around as well. There's definitely a lot of action going on here. You know, definitely sometimes you'll forget to shift that gear into the right gear, or shift too early, you know, and not slow down enough, and it can make every bit of difference here on one of these road courses.
There is all kinds of action going around this course right now. Dan Colson looking pretty smooth out here.
Scott Cazenave, everybody, still your race leader, but Javier is keeping a close gap here. He is definitely putting out some good racing here, as Javier is 2nd in the points, like I said, and he is trying to battle his way up to the front here. He is trying to take that championship and give it all he's got. Taking a ride along here with Carter Cazenave, currently in that P9 spot. Right behind Dan Collison, everybody at a number 12. Dan's going to get a little bit of free off that last corner. Carter's going to get a lot of momentum there going into that next corner.
There are 13 turns on this track. Look like Dan Colson just ran off the course a little bit. Andrew in the 31.
Andrew currently in that P5 spot, putting on a pretty good race so far here. You know, like I said, this is a very challenging track considering what these guys go through every week, you know. So week in and week out, this is going to make or break you here with points. So just trying to be consistent enough and hold a steady spot is going to make or break you.
That is so true. It will make or break you on this course.
Take a Bobby Joe Lane here now. Bobby Joe Lane's still looking pretty consistent here tonight. Currently holding an 11-second gap here against the leader here. But, you know, that's still not a bad place to be because anything can still happen here if the leader gets into some trouble or burns the tires down to make them spin out, or second place even, you know. So you never know what can happen here, you know, but a third place finish is a good finish. So, keep it steady, boys. Y'all are kicking it.
This road course is challenging for these fellas. I'm giving them credit right now. There's a pretty good pack right there.
So we're going to have Bud Light Mike leading that pack right there. Currently in 6th place with Rusty Robinson back there in that Buchanan Resort car in number 7. Dan Collison's going to be in 8th, and Carter Cazenave's going to be in 9th. We got a good little pack here, so you know, just seeing these guys hold it consistent is all that really matters.
And that's true. It is kind of hard to pass on this track. You gotta take your time and have the patience to do it. Dan Collison now on the back bumper of Rusty Robinson. Felt like Mike just ran off the course a little bit. Hopefully we'll get a chance to recover. We'll see.
Looks like he's going to get back underway here, but it's definitely going to make him lose a few seconds here. Bobby Joe Lane and Alan Moore keeping it nice and tight here for 3rd and 4th place.
It's a good, challenging course. And Lamar now being on the back bumper of Bobby Joe. Around the big turn now, they're side by side.
Lamar looking on the outside of this next turn here. looking pretty smooth. Gonna make his way around Lane. Lane looking to just lag back just a little bit to serve and try to stay out of trouble.
Focusing now on Scott Casanave, holding to that pole position.
Scott currently holding a 2-second plus gap here. Looking really good against Javier. Javier is still there, but he is a little bit far behind. He has fallen back just a little bit from where he was. But doesn't mean that he can't come back from this, because all it takes is a little bit of tire slip and it's game over. Take a look here. Greg Langford back here. Greg Langford currently running P12. Greg Langford was involved in that accident on pace. Looks like he's still going here and holding it strong back there in P12. So good job there, Greg. CNL Carpets, baby. Let's go.
That is one of our sponsors here for Heart to Heart.
Carter Casanave still in that top 10 here, looking to make something happen here. As he's only about 10 seconds behind here, he's going to have to pick up a lot of ground here, but he definitely can make something happen here with 20 laps to go. We'll just have to see how it goes. It's going to be Ryan Perone, everybody, in the 50 here, as he's currently running in that P10 spot.
Having a little trouble right there. Got a little loose now coming in front straight away.
Benny Jones currently back there in 14th spot with 6 laps down, but just looking like he's just having a little bit of trouble tonight, you know, just trying to keep it maintained and under control. But this track can be very tricky for drivers that's just used to oval racing. Oval racing and road racing is two totally different things. So when it comes to the challenge, you know, it's definitely tough. It's definitely tough.
Dan Coulson and Andrew now putting on a good race for everybody.
They're getting ready to put a battle out for 5th place here.
Dan Coulson now on the back bumper of looking the inside now. Andrew.
Scott Casaneve's now going to start lapping vehicles here. He is making his way around Greg Langford here. Dan Coulson's going to get his way into that top 5 around Andrew, but he's going to have to hold it pretty consistent here now throughout the rest of this race here. Javier now making his way around, starting to close that gap on Scott Casanave, now down to a 1 second gap.
I'm showing 11 cars still in the lead pace right now as this race is still going on. Rusty Robinson and the Buchanan Resort. Let's get ready to be in battle for 7th here. But like Mike got a little loose now. Rusty Robinson now taking over control.
There's just cars going everywhere. I don't know what that was, but I just changed that camera view, and the 77 went flying across the screen. Not really sure what happened there, but that was just awesome. Oh man, I'll tell you what, y'all, that cracked me up. I'm sorry, everybody. As we're watching these guys battle it out for 7th and 8th place here, this is awesome.
Austin got a little loose back here behind Carter now, and they're stacking it up. Bumper to bumper now. 47 still throwing in the spot. Carter Cazenave now start making his way up slowly but surely. Now they're coming back on the front straightaway now.
Carter now in the inside. We're going to have Austin Cornpros follow him here. Looks like Bud Light Mike's just going to lose a little bit of momentum from that last accident here. Just getting a little bit of freeness there. But these guys are going to continue to battle it out and keep the motion moving, everybody. They're going to keep it going here.
Yeah, I just saw Carter Cazenave just getting a little off track back there. Oh, Austin and Carter, both of them got loose. Rusty Robinson into 5 and Buchanan Resort. I noticed when these tires start to get good and warm in, you're going to start sliding around like butter. As the track temperature right now is still showing a comfortable 74 degrees. Bobby Joe Lane in number 2, the Bass Tire Car. One of our sponsors here for the Hrt to Heart. This race is tough on some drivers.
Definitely knowing when to brake in these corners, knowing when to downshift. The question is, do you really go in and pit? The only time I can see you really having to go into pit is if something really bad happens and you need to repair your car. But definitely very challenging as you're twisting left and right, left and right, left and right, and using different forces of brake pedal and different gas pedal adjustments through each corner.
Definitely do got that right.
Scott Cazenave has almost ran the lead on almost all this race here, looking very smooth, but Javier is definitely still keeping that gap very close here as we got 16 laps to go, everybody.
Javier has been trying to close that gap between Scott Cazenave at this point. Scott Cazenave looking pretty smooth out here in Mid-Ohio. Taking a look now, and Javier Into 24. Scott now on the front straightaway here at Mid-Ohio. This track really does soldier the performance of these cars.
All right, everybody, as we're at that halfway mark, we're going to step away here for a minute and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Aaron Lane from Bass Tire.
Hi, I'm Steve Bass. We're here at the legendary Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Good tires and brakes are important on this race car, and so are the tires and brakes on your vehicle.
For the very best in tires, brakes, and auto service, come make a pit stop at Bass Tire.
Serving Nashville for over 35 years.
On Nolensville Road, next to the zoo.
Well, as we're coming back here, everybody, Ryan Perron's going to run off of the track there a little bit, everybody. Scott Cazenave getting into some of this lap traffic here, everybody, which is going to cause Javier to be able to really close that gap. Javier has now got that gap down to about 1 second, so he's going to look to make some moves here and make it happen. Also want to take a minute to say thank you to our other sponsors, everybody. Chasing Muscle Cars, everybody. Please make sure you check them out on Facebook or YouTube, everybody. Also, make sure you go check out, man, if I could really talk today, I'm telling you, everybody, I'm telling you. Don't forget to check out CNL Carpets, everybody, with Greg Langford, everybody. If you're looking to get some carpet put in your house or some vinyl plank or whatever, he is your guy. So make sure you shoot up Greg for a message, everybody. His number's posted here on the screen. Much love to everybody, y'all. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future races with the Hrt2Heart Arca. Races brought to you every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, everybody. Scott Cazenave now looking to gain here on Carter Cazenave. And Carter's currently running in that P10 spot here, but definitely been into a little bit of trouble tonight, so now he's going to make his way around here, the top two. Let's see what they can do here as we're at 12 laps to go.
Javier still keeping that close space between him and Scott right now. Javier in the 24.
Alamar still currently back here in P3, holding it down pretty good here, looking pretty consistent now. Got a lot of great speed coming out of these corners, so this is what he needs to be able to stay in that top 3 in points. Same for Bobby Joe Lane here, everybody in that Bass Tire car. Currently running in P4. This is the place where he wants to be, so he doesn't lose any positions in points. So great job by this top 4, keeping it where they need to be. Dan Colson back here, currently running in P5. Dan Colson put on a pretty good race here. Got in a little bit of trouble early on, but he is back holding it pretty consistent here, holding a pretty good gap here. Currently 7 seconds away from 4th. So that's where we're at with that, and hopefully he'll be able to gain and catch a few laps here.
That we're rounding off your top 5.
I'll tell you what, Scott had talked to me earlier this week, before this race, and said, I really don't like this track. I really don't think it's going to be a good race, so the track was almost changed, everybody. The track almost got changed due to a big mess of pad. Just being such an awful track for these cars, and but you know what, we was able to set up a good setup here and be able to just put on a good event here, because this car doesn't normally have a setup for this track. So it was awesome to see all these drivers come out here and make way with what they can here, and put in that effort. Because it's definitely what makes it challenging and makes it a better race here. So we got Alan Marr back here currently looking to make his way around Brian Perone.
That is a little bit part of the loud traffic right now. It is definitely easy to get lapped here on this road course. Scott Cassidy now get ready to try to work his way around Bud Light Mike.
If he gets held behind Bud Light Mike for too long, he's definitely going to lose a lot of momentum here in that lead.
He's trying to work his way now side by side with Bud Light Mike, now going around Bud Light Mike. It's Javier now.
Javier now going to go off of track here. Off the track. Can he hold it consistent, get back in there? Man, I'll tell you what. But I'll tell you what, he drove the wheels off of it to get it back and regain composure. I got to give him credit for that, but that's going to definitely hurt him with just 10 laps to go here. He's going to have to pick up a lot of speed here to make that happen.
He is definitely driving the wheels off of that Arca car. Scott Cassidy now looking pretty good out here. I like that color for the Allen Auto car.
I do too. It really stands out. It looks very beautiful.
Yes, it does. Javier now trying to catch his composure and try to catch up back to Scott. Javier's got to get around this lap traffic to catch up to Scott. Javier now running in second place. Take a look here at Ryan Perone and Bobby Jolene.
Bobby Jane Lane has looked pretty good this race, holding pretty consistent and steady. He told me early this week, he said, I'm just going to go out there and hold it steady, and that's exactly what he's doing. So, good job on holding in that P4. As it's starting to get a little bit darker outside, you can see it's a little cloudy. You can kind of see the glare of the lights off of the cars here if you take a close look here on the hood of these vehicles.
It is partly cloudy, hopefully to keep this track a little bit cooler for these drivers, to make it a little bit easier instead of being slotty like butter.
Well, all we can ask is it don't rain. Hopefully it doesn't rain and the forecast is clear, because that's definitely what we don't need. We don't need to play and slip and slide, take it to the house, you know.
Little by little now, Javier still trying to catch up to Scott. Scott Cassidy now still holding consistent out here in Mid-Ohio. Scott Cassidy now get ready to come in on the front straightaway. Six laps to go.
As it kicks us back here to Lane, here currently running in fourth place. He is starting to close that gap on Alomar. I don't know if he'll have enough time unless Allen kind of really screws up here, but he definitely could have a chance to make his way back into that P3 spot.
Jolene still got a little bit of catching up to do to catch up to Alomar. Still holding that fourth position.
You know, you got to think they're on the same set of tires that they had started with, unless they got in an accident and they pitted. That would put them in the back of the field. So for at least your top 7 here is on old tires.
Believe it or not, that all that 7, they're on a lead lap. While everybody else is showing laps down. Alomar now trying to get around Carter. Side by side now with Carter.
He's going to want to get around them fast as he can and not battle with them too much, because if he does battle with them, the O2 of Lane is going to be able to close that gap even more.
Yeah, Alomar needs to try to get around this lap traffic as fast as possible.
Dan Collison holding his composure, currently running in that P5. Carter going to wind it up into some trouble tonight, but still looking pretty consistent. Still a top 10 finish. You can't go wrong with a top 10 finish. Just 5 laps to go. He's going to have to hold it together against Andrew. Andrew's now looking to take that 9th place spot.
Andrew now trying to battle with Carter for 9th place position. Coming now on the front straightaway. Andrew keeping a close gap. Oh, they collide to each other, bumper to bumper now.
Battling for position with Lane currently back there in 4th place, saying, I don't want to get caught up in this. Please don't let me get caught up in this. Currently running 4th place. That is not what you want to be in.
Kind of slows that battle between them two right now as Bobby Joe Lane still trying to catch up.
Andrew off track. But that's going to allow Carter to get around him.
That's going to make those tires a little bit dirty too as well.
Definitely going to make it a lot more slick here if they don't hold it together here. Javier still currently running in that P2 spot. Currently right now around 6 seconds behind Scott Cazenave in that 2nd place. Let's go. Scott Cazenave putting on a very impressive race here. Looking very consistent. Lap after lap here, everybody, with just 3 laps to go here. Scott Cazenave has put on a wonderful race tonight.
These cars do sound pretty good on here. This track does show the good performance of this new Arca car. Car getting a little loose. No! Going into the sand now.
That's going to allow Andrew to get back in front of him here. As he now looks to make his way on more up the field here.
2 to go. Austin got a little loose.
Austin trying to make his way up there to Dan Collison in front of Andrew here. He's going to have to get around Andrew pretty quick to get around Dan here. If he's going to make this work with just 2 laps to go, he's going to have to give it everything he can to make it into that top 5.
Austin Corporal is currently in the 6th position. And Lamar now making his way around Bud Light Mike.
One thing about these cars, you try to put them into the draft. The draft doesn't work so well in these cars. You get a bunch of dirty air across the nose of these cars, where these cars just don't like to turn when someone is in front of you. So that makes the challenge even harder here, because you have to really brake, and you really have to set the nose of this car for each corner to make it work. All right, everybody, and we're on the final lap with Scott Cazenave currently leading this race. Scott Cazenave, phenomenal job tonight, everybody. Definitely putting out a great race here, as Javier has now closed that gap back there in second place, y'all, with just the last few seconds of the lap, with 4 seconds behind Scott Cazenave.
He needs to make up that time to make this race a little bit closer. Scott Cassidy now taking his time. Start to get ready now. Get ready to turn up to the front straightaway.
Take the final corner here, everybody, and that's going to put Scott Cazenave, everybody, as your race leader here. Scott Cazenave is going to get the win with Javier Zapata. Everybody's going to take up that P2 spot, with Alan Mars going to be in P3.
Good race to all these drivers. Good race.
Scott just going to take a victory lap here so everybody can get around and finish this race here, and then see him burn it down. That's going to be your race results, everybody, right here.
Scott now is getting ready to burn it down.
I have to give him credit, you know, for the season champ here. He is definitely putting it out right this season. He has put out some really good racing, even in the Legend Series on Friday nights. He has done some awesome racing here. Currently leading in the points. What a great burnout there that was. That's a good burnout. All right, right, everybody. As he's finishing and burning it down, everybody, we're going to pull our top 3 in here for an interview and give them a talk and see how they're doing. So if we can get Alan Marr and also get Javier into the chat here, and Scott Cazenave, we'll get going. Scott Cazenave has pulled it off again, everybody. He is doing some amazing things this season here with these cars, and definitely outstanding performance tonight, man. You held it very consistent. Javier was looking pretty close to you there most of the race, but he actually ended up getting into a little bit of trouble there, close to 10 laps to go, and wasn't able to regain composure. And because once you mess up here, you can definitely lose a lot of ground. But great race overall. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling that's a great victory right there. That's a good win. I was consistent and smooth and kept her on the track. It was tough. Felt real good about it.
So you're currently leading in points. We got 3 races left to go. What do you expect to come from these next 3 races?
Well, if I stay out of trouble and have a good finish in each 3, I should hang on to it. Like I said, I got to stay out of trouble. I got to have some good luck here. I've had some good luck this season, so knock on wood. Hopefully it'll keep going. But yeah, it's been a good season. I'm looking forward to the next 3. So they're pretty good tracks. It ought to be some good racing. Exciting.
Most definitely. So do you got any shout outs?
Yes, sir. I want to shout out to Abraham if she's watching, Allen Tillery Chevrolet, all of our sponsors, C&L Carpet, Buchanan Resort, Bass Tires. Hope you guys are watching. Thank you, BJ and J-Dog, for broadcasting it. All these guys that race here, much love. This is definitely a fun race to do.
Most definitely. And we're, like I say all the time to you, hope to see you in the booth again here soon, and hope you have a wonderful night.
Yeah, I hope to be in the booth again, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody. And that's going to wind up being Javier in that P2 spot. Let's see if we can pull him in here. It doesn't look like he's made it into the waiting room yet. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull Alan Marr in that P3 spot up in here for now and talk to him. And we'll see if gives Javier a few minutes to get ready here as we can talk to him. Well, Alan, you got wrapped up a little bit there early on, but you know what? You was able to bring it back into that P3 spot and hold it very consistent there for the rest of the race. How you feeling about that?
Oh, it was fun. Yeah, I got a little greedy early. That last corner coming onto the front stretch is giving me problems all week, but got a little greedy, but fortunately came out top 3 still.
Hey, there's no complaints about a good top 3. That actually leaves you top 3 in the points, so great finish overall. So, comparing this to, running ovals most of the time, it's a big change, right?
Oh, absolutely. I had to put in many, many more hours of practice. I usually don't practice in the week, but I made sure to hop in here and get a little bit, and at least stay in that top 3 in points, where Javier and Scott are still at a arm's reach and able to be beat down the line.
Yes, sir. They're not that far away, and there's still 3 races to go, so you still have a chance because anything can happen. You just never know. But I wanted to say overall, great race. So you have any shout outs?
Yeah, thanks to you guys for putting this on. That should be about it for me, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, we hope you have a wonderful night, and we hope to catch you again in the booth before the season's over. And looking forward to seeing you race next season as well as we gear up for some new exciting stuff.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody, and that's going to leave us with P2, everybody. P2 of Javier. Javier has had a fantastic season this season, looking very consistent. He was currently running in that P2 spot right there behind Scott Cazenave and keeping a pretty close gap there, around a 2-second gap, and was he lost the control there a little bit right at about 10 laps to go, and but he was able to regain that composure and keep moving forward and try to keep closing that gap until towards the end of this race. And he was able to get that gap down to about another 3 seconds here and catching Scott Cazenave at the end. How you feeling after all that, Javier?
Feeling good. I mean, second place at a road course is always a good finish, right? So we don't do this every week, but congrats to Scott. I mean, he ran a perfect race. He was hard to catch. My plan was to stay just right behind him for a while and, maybe battle him at the end. But yeah, I made a mistake there. About 10 laps to go, and couldn't make up the time. You lose 8 seconds here. It's very difficult to make them up in such a short amount of time, but still happy with second place, and looking forward to the next 3. I think it's going to be exciting. Alan, Scott, Bobby, I think we're all in the mix, so let's see what happens.
Yes, sir. Y'all are closing doors here together with just 3 races to go, and Hrt to Heart looking to bring in some really nice, exciting racing here for next season as well, and hoping to see you out there on the track for that as well. So it's been a really good season with you, and we're glad to have you here, and we think you do some outstanding racing here, and just want to say good job.
Appreciate it, man. Glad to be here. Good group of guys racing every Sunday, and having fun.
Yes, sir. Well, you got any shout outs?
Shout out to Ed, if he's watching. He's getting into iRacing, and he's having fun with that too. So, and shout out to you guys and all the drivers today. We don't do this again every week in and week out, and I think we did a good job today.
All right. Well, as always, we hope to catch you in the booth again, and hope you have a wonderful night.
Same to you.
And everybody, that's going to conclude our top 3, everybody, tonight here at Mid-Ohio for 30 laps with the Hrt to Heart Motorsports Series, everybody. Please don't forget to subscribe and don't miss out on any future races every Sunday, y'all, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And J-Dog, you want to give us the closeout?
Thank you for all the drivers. We will see you at Homestead, Miami.